And now coming to the stand, Hel Falke.
Hello. I would like to start off by saying it was a wonderful year. We had our ups and downs, and we had our management problems, and we had our league issues, and the commissioner handled it. So I would like to thank the commissioner for the wonderful draft order we had, and it was a little mix-up at the draft, but he came through and fixed it. So I would like to thank the commissioner for that. I would like to take questions now.
Hel Falke, at one point, did you think you were not going to make the playoffs?
Well, I mean, there was a point in the season where we were 7-6, and it wasn't cutting it. Our pickups weren't, they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, and we were trying to trade. We had a lot of players on the market. We were looking for someone to make a splash in our wide receiver area, because some of the wide receivers we had, having Julio and Mike Wallace, and even later on in the season, LaFell, they weren't cutting it at one point, but then they started picking up what they needed to do, and then, we started looking away from the trade market. And once we realized that, a lot of the managers weren't willing to trade with Hel Falke, we were okay with that, and we kept our teams, and we continued picking up what we could pick up.
Hel Falke, you made great pickups throughout the whole season. What was the key to the success of picking up these players?
I'd like to say it wasn't really a key. It was more of a gut feeling. These players that were out on the free agent, a lot of them were, they weren't like players you shouldn't drop, really. I mean, we found Tom Brady on the market at one point. We found Noshawn at the beginning, and if he wasn't injured, I'm sure he would have had a great season, because he started out the season with 19 points and it was 19.80, I think, and he was doing wonderful. He was one of the pickups. We had Joe Flacco at one point with a tandem of Steve Smith. I mean, these guys were just, they came through every week that I decided to pick up someone. There was one week I decided to pick up Kirk Cousins, because once we all know RG3 went down, it was kind of a downhill out there in Washington. So what we did was we did pick up Kirk Cousins one week, and he worked out for us. But throughout the whole season, we had great pickups, and there wasn't a strategy, really. It was more of a gut feeling and knowing your players, really, to tell you the truth.
We know you went against the two best teams at the end of the season with the Welker and your drink and Mr. Versatility. At one point, did you think you were gonna make it, because those guys were dropping points throughout the whole season?
Well, you know what it is with those two teams. They, throughout the whole season, I mean, if you want to look at Mr. Versatility's team, throughout the whole season, this man was dropping at least 140 or 150. And, coming into the season, he didn't feel like he was promised much because of his team. But, his team ended up surprising him week in and week out and just demolishing the other team. So when we went against him, we were very, very, very nervous. And, we didn't show that throughout the game and throughout the season, but you have to give it up to those teams that stack their players or stack the team to win. They're doing a great job putting those players together and putting that team together. Even Welker and her drink, he was making great pickups throughout the whole season, making sure he was picking up the right running backs and whatnot, and trying to keep them away from the other teams. And that's a great strategy. You cannot beat around the bush and say, they weren't teams that were doing what they were doing to win. There were teams, like every team in the league was doing what they should have done, but, their players were showing up. That's all it was. And their players were showing up, and they were setting up the right lineup. And, I, unfortunately, for them at least, fortunate for me, the last two games when I played against them, their teams didn't show up. And so my teams did, and, maybe the best team won, or maybe the best team lost, but in my eyes, the best teams won. Yeah. Go ahead.
Did the commissioner reach out to you about next season and re-signing the Hel Falke team?
He hasn't, in fact. I'm sure he is busy right now getting the next year's league ready for everyone in the league right now. I heard that there are possibly rumors of 2 more managers signing. So if he does re-sign me or any of the other managers, I'd be happy to come back. It was a great season. Of course, I'm not just saying that because I won the championship. Last year I had a wonderful season, and this year I was blessed to come back again. I hope he asks me to come back. Simply put it. Anyone else? Any questions? One more last one? Go ahead.
If resigning to the league, what are your plans to win the championship again?
Well, we're just going to try to follow the same blueprint. Simply put it. Once you have a blueprint that works, you continue using it. You don't stray away from it. Simply put it. You don't be like, okay, I want it this way. Okay, what can I do to make it better? No. You keep your blueprint and you improve on it. So you have a base. Once you have that base that wins, and then you add the key parts to it to continue winning, you're going to continue winning. Simply put. And that's it. That's the last of my questions. I want to thank again everyone in the league for a wonderful season. I want to thank the commissioner for having a great rule set and player sets, and I just had a wonderful time. This is your 2014 Ooo Kill'em champion saying, good job, y'all, and thanks for the great season. Thank you, guys. Thank you.